the flow.
Thanks, Linda. That's great. Well, welcome to the podcast, kpfitandwell.co, and I'm your host, KP. And I am struggling a wee bit, I'm not going to lie to you, so I've got a bit of a deeper voice. I've got Cavonia on the side. But luckily, I've got Linda with me tonight.
Yes, I'll save you.
You will save me, although she has just asked me what it is we're talking about tonight. So that just kind of threw me off, but I'm okay.
Bit of brain fog and mind blanks going on these days.
Okay.
It's just age.
That's my familiar space. See if I've got a bird that's not got brain fog, I'm actually a bit thrown off. I'm like, oh, this is out my comfort zone.
You're too sharp.
Yeah, this is out my comfort zone. I prefer brain fog and hot flushes and stuff. So Linda, do you want to give us a wee introduction to you? Because you're just wonderful.
To me? Oh, thank you. As are you. So, hi everybody, I'm Linda. I am a mindset coach and I work in Cumbernauld, but I work on Zoom as well. Mainly females I work with all sorts of different issues. But I do have, it's quite, suiting that we're talking about motherhood and identity, because that seems to be quite a big topic just now. I tend to get kind of waves of different things that come into the office, and mothers struggling is a biggie just now. Not that it's not always a biggie, but it's been a biggie in my office. So work as an NLP practitioner, do traditional coaching and hypnotherapy as and when required. So
and that is a massive topic that we're going to talk about today, because I'm opening the doors of my 90-day sort of programme for mums, because I find it is the clientele that just struggle the most.
Yeah.
Because we're doing everything. Like, my guy clients, and I used to wonder about this, right? My guy clients smash it, get results, and then I'd get maybe the wife, so I train the man, I train the wife, and the wife's like, I don't know, like, I'm just struggling, but it's because they are at the bottom of the pile, and when it comes to your health, you kind of need to put yourself as a priority. So I've always been interested in that. Then I got with Stacey, who has the 2 kids, and that is when my world just came crashing down.
Upside down, inside out.
Yeah, because it is the hardest job. Like, I feel so bad, because I used to be quite harsh on my mum. See, when I was like 21 and I was a personal trainer, I was like, why are you late? Why are you off? Your kids are sick. Why are you not here? And see, now that I'm kind of half mum, half dad, Stacey's full mum and these 2 kids, I'm apologising publicly to those clients that I had, because it is hardcore.
It's one of those things you can't know it until you're in it. You really can't. You can't really imagine what it's like and the extent of how much it kind of consumes and takes over every part of you until you're in that situation. So it's, you can't know until you know. So don't feel bad about that.
No, I know. And one of the things I did notice when I first started going with Stacey's was I was like really struggling to put myself somewhere. Like, firstly, my humour isn't very PG, so I found that quite a struggle. But also I've seen it with Stacey, like, firsthand, how much like she's mum and not Stacey. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is a huge thing for women, because I get clients and I'll be like that to them. What do you do for fun? Blah, blah, blah. Like, as in them. They don't know. They're just so like consumed by the mum role that I think that you really lose a bit of yourself. And I think that really does affect your self-esteem. You're at the point where you're like, I don't recognise myself anymore. Who's that in that photograph? Like, physically, mentally, I'm not myself anymore. So that's what I wanted you to touch on tonight for me.
I know, and it's especially like your body doesn't feel like your own. A lot of people come out. A lot of people think it's really easy to get pregnant and have babies, and you don't realise the amount. I'm working with people that are going through so many complications and have had complications after birth, and your body completely changes. And so even just that, from like a very physical point of view, it's so difficult to kind of claim your identity again. But as I said, it's so consuming of every single part of your life, because you cannot do anything but put that little human before your own needs. You don't have a choice for a lot of the time, and it depends. Everybody's situation is so different, but there's this underlying theme that everybody's the same. It's all same but different.
Yes.
Because some people have great family networks. Some people have great friendship groups where they're all in the same situation. They can all support each other. Some people have a partner. A lot of people don't. So some people have hundreds of wins and some have one. So I think it's a topic that's it's not very openly discussed, because a lot of people don't want to seem ungrateful, or they're just so much love for their child, how could they possibly say I'm struggling, or I'm struggling with, to put myself first? Because that just seems so selfish, and we're not conditioned to be like that. We're conditioned to be the nurturers, the caregivers, the selfless people, because
Ah,
that's what women are. So it's not really, people don't feel comfortable saying I'm struggling, basically,
no, 1,000,000%. And
or
I
I'm not
notice that
enjoying
a lot.
myself at all.
No, I know. Like, I'm dead vocal because I do think it's torture. I still wouldn't change it, right? Because it's
Yeah,
this weird kind
of
of
course.
torture. But it's hardcore, man, right? And I think
Yeah.
that a lot of mums find it hard to maybe say to other mums in case there's a sort of judgment there. But I
Judgment.
do find
Yep.
that mums do say to me, because I'm like, it's fucking terrible. And then they go, yeah, it's quite
Yes.
difficult. And I think it's
You
okay
give them
because
permission to be
we are
honest. Yeah.
telling lies, because that ain't enjoyable. You get the odd freaky person that's like with the crayons every day, but I mean, it's
Homeschooling and
draining. I've got a client homeschools. I'm like, what's wrong?
yeah.
But draining. So I find that, and I find that you've been given this role, everything you've just said there, of, you're the caregiver, you're the counsellor, taxi driver, now I'm a tech fixer of
Oh,
the
yep.
TikTok
Yep.
and stuff, and you're given all these roles, but you don't necessarily choose them. You're just like, here's your roles. I mean, the kid goes off sick, who has to stay off? Usually,
Yeah.
do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's always, yeah, it's, I mean, I think to be inclusive, we could talk about the default parent, because there will be, in every relationship where there's children,
Yes,
there will be a default parent, and that tends to be majority as women. But there are situations where that's not the case, and there's, of course, there's single dads out there, but it's the default parent that takes on that burden of everything, and if they don't do it, it doesn't get picked up. So it's the massive conversation about working and having children at the same time, having careers and having children at the same time, and it's like oil and water. It really
I
doesn't
know.
work. I mean, some people make it work, and I know people that make it work. I think a lot of people are just, head is above water, adjust, and they're paddling like mad just to keep things going. And but then the minute there's a sick child, the minute there's you need to take time off, because you're the default parent, or there's an appointment for them, or whatever it is, school holidays, then it all crumbles, and it's the balance can tip quite easily.
Yeah, and me and you're a person that goes to the gym and you've got your kids and all that. So when I've got my mum clients, this is why I designed the program, because, like you said, you're just about there in the water, and then what I throw in now, all this health stuff for you to do, and I
Yes,
think that we
yeah,
think, oh, you need to do full day of Sunday food prepping. I need to be at the gym an hour and a half a day. So if you feel like you're paddling water, the last thing that
yeah,
you're going to be able to even like think about doing is that sort of health journey for yourself, when actually it's the worst thing you can do. Putting your health to the bottom of
yeah.
the pile is the worst thing. I just feel like I don't know how these birds are taking on these kids without feeling like good. Like, I couldn't imagine they two fuckers with a hangover. Do you know what I mean? Like, I need a straight head. I need to be like, because they're manipulating me and say they're running rings around this. So I'm like, if I was rough, I would be done for here. So I just
Yeah,
always think, I
exactly.
think that women need to start putting their health first, but you've got this whole, they don't really know where to start, they've lost themselves, the mum guilt. I mean, what is the mum guilt? Do you get that? Do you get
Um,
that?
of course, yes, but I'm very aware of it, and I work through it, and I do kind of, I do go back to the kids and apologise for, like, see that thing I did when you were three, and they're like,
I'm so
what thing? And
sorry.
like this, this thing at nurse when I dropped you at nursery that day, and you really didn't, and I kind of apologise for it, and that's the way I kind of, make my amends. But I think, yeah, you're constantly. I think the thing is, there's no one right way to be a parent, and we're all different personality types. Our children are all different personality types, so there's so much noise out there. Just the same with everything, every topic we can talk about. There's so much noise out there, whether it's
Yeah.
nutrition or parenting. There's this flourishing industry of parenting experts and psychologists, and people telling you, oh, don't do that. Or Gabor Mate's saying if you put them down and you don't have them beside you 24/7, you're creating abandonment. Which I can see
Wow.
his point, but it's also too. It's just too much. So it's really hard to know, to feel as if you're doing the right thing. And I think it's taken me a long while to get to a point where um, I cancelled out the noise, and I just go in and intuitively what feels like the right thing for me to do, because I know me and I know my children, so I know what probably works best and what doesn't. And if somebody says that's probably not, you're not going to create a very resilient child or whatever, they seem fine to me.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think
Do you know what I mean?
we
It's
can
not
do
like the
it.
90s when we
Time
were
will tell.
kids, man. That was a hard time growing up,
We
man.
just raised
And
ourselves. I know.
without
It's
Instagram, how did we
I
know?
know. I know.
I
We
know.
just we basically raised ourselves, and we got there was no tracking, no Life 360 anyway. So
Well, I
it
know.
was a
That's the thing. I said that the other week. I was like, what did we do in doctor's waiting room? And we just sat? Did we all just sit and like no
set.
phones? Like
Hey,
sat and
magazines.
waited?
You read
Magazines? Do you know what I
like
mean?
Women
To be,
Weekly.
my mum used to have a pager. Actually, I had a pager, and it used to be that a woman that was on the other end of the phone who would have to type the message up, and I would get pure
Yeah.
abusive text messages on this pager
Oh,
of my mum like that. Get fucking home, your room is a mess. And I can just imagine this woman on the phone like that. Get fucking home like that. Who is this crazy mum? Do you know what I mean? So actually, I had one of those mums that was just like fucking ball breaker, not the soft nice parent we have now. Do you know what I mean?
yes.
Where
It's oh
kids
yeah,
are,
the old's mellow, and with the grandparents are completely different. But I know that, and that's another complication is if there's two parents, you could have been raised with a parent that you think, oh, that's how I should parent, and then the other parent has been raised by a completely different style of parenting and think that's the way. So one can be really disciplinarian, one can be really nurturing, gentle, and that can cause a lot of conflict as well. So it's all, add all that into it if it's not just one of you that gets to make all the decisions. So
yeah,
that
no,
can
yeah,
quite
it
often.
has to be team. It has to be a team effort if you are parent with somebody. Like you can't show weakness in front of them and all that. But
Yes.
the thing I have a lot of issue with mums and stuff is they feel this mum guilt spending money on themselves. So an investment on their health or whatever, spending time on themselves. Like so going to the gym or that, they're like, no, because I can't leave. Like I just find that obviously I don't get mum guilt personally myself. I understand the mum guilt. I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
you can see through
But
it.
like I
It's
can be like, "Ah, see you later, bye. I don't care." But do you ever like what do you do with clients to sort of overcome that feeling of the mum guilt for doing things for yourself, for spending money on yourself, for self care? I think that's where it does
yeah,
all go tits up for mums
it's what it,
because
yeah.
they're saying no to those things because of this mad mum guilt. And I'm like, what do you do with that? Where did
Yeah,
it come from? And it's one of the
I
things I
think
do talk about in the programme because it's a massive burden, isn't it?
yeah, it's such a big block. I think when you start to unpick somebody's motivations for why they feel guilty and why they're doing what they're doing because they think it's for the most benefit of their child, and sometimes it can actually be to the detriment of the child if they never want to be away from their child, so their child's not getting that independence away from them. Um, if you start to look at things, because guilt can be very irrational and it's not necessarily based on facts. So when you start to pull things apart and look at them piece by piece, you can see that actually it's much more logical that if the mother, and there are studies that have been done on this, that the
Oh, really?
child's well-being, the child's like a good determinant of the child's mental health is based on the mother's happiness. So if you've had a mother that's had a lot of trauma or who's really struggled with her mental health or had some sort of condition that's affected the way she parents, or the way she interacts with her children, then that is a massive influence on like a predictor of how
Wow.
they're going to be. So I think when you look at it from that position, um, it's one of those ones that if you're not feeling your best, if you're not doing the things that make you, I hate saying now the best version of yourself, but you know what I mean when I say that, like the habits that keep you healthy and keep your mindset healthy, then you're
Yes.
not giving the best version of yourself to those children, that you're not giving them the best of you that you can. And that has to be, you can't be with them all the time and meeting every single women need. And there's got to be a line drawn somewhere where you put yourself from that position of, if I centre myself in my health and well-being, then my children are going to get massive benefit from that.
Well, 100%. Because you know how much better you feel after you've exercised or if you've been eating healthy. And I see it
Much
when
nicer.
When Stacey hasn't been, when she's like really bedraggled, she start her fuse. You see it just getting shorter and
Yep.
shorter. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, and she could sometimes be reduced to tears, just like because she's like so frustrated. And I'm like, it's because you've not done anything. Like it was just the Easter holidays there. and she's just constant. I'm like, you've not done anything for yourself. Like, so it's just literally going to be a downward spiral, and we all suffer. And I'm quite clever in the fact that, see, if Stacey goes down, I need to like now be the designated parent. So I'm like trying to keep her.
Survivor.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, my God, if she goes down, then it's me. It's me. So I'm like trying to keep her the emergency
Of course.
contact. You know what I mean? Doing her hair, like, it's fine, you'll be all right, go. But I find that mums get to this stage where they're really like, I mean, I've got a woman now, and I don't know if you maybe seen it on my Instagram, and she was actually talking about her health journey. She's been with me, and she was crying because she was like, I've only been mum, I've only been wife, and I'm at the bottom of the pile. And now I feel like I'm somewhere at the middle, somewhere at the top. And you should see the change in this woman, man. Like the way she's walking, talking. She started a wee side business because her confidence. And I'm like,
Wow.
that is all because she started making small steps to show up for herself. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying leave your kids in the house themselves. Do you know what I mean? While you're off to the gym like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, but
And you put the gym in front of them at every turn. Oh, yeah.
There has to be something, you know, and I think what you said is rational. Would you want your kids growing up in this same sort of way, like with a run ragged off their kids? They've not been to the gym, they don't know them. I mean, if mums had to think about this in the reverse way, would they want this for their kids? Because Stacey wouldn't want that for the girls. Would you want that for your
It's a
girls?
role model, isn't it? It's because the children, you know, they don't do what they're told, but they'll follow what you do, kind of thing. So if you demonstrate the behaviours that you want your children to have, which why wouldn't you want them to have a healthy lifestyle? Then you've got to do it yourself. So it's that thing again. It keeps coming back to in terms of exercise. In fact, I was watching a doctor yesterday talking about hormones. I can't remember who it was, but she was saying the biggest thing you can do apart from like take HRT was exercise, because it has such an impact on the brain that it's more effective than antidepressants, it's more effective than meditation, it's more effective than, you know, all these other self-care things. It's actually exercise that keeps coming back as the most beneficial thing to do.
It's 100%. And even like, you don't need to spend all this time at the gym, but it's even lifting weights. And you know this, when you feel strong, it like builds this, like, it's an inner strength into it that weights build. Because you're a lifter, aren't you?
Not
You
so much
lift,
now.
Linda.
I do still, but not heavy. I've gone down.
No.
But you know, it's so true though. It's an inner and outer strength. I've always said that feeling strong physically does correlate for me, and I can't say that for everybody, but I think it, you know, on a general note, that if you feel strong physically and you feel resilient physically, then that's going to translate mentally, and that confidence you build that's where my confidence started. You know, it never came from any mindset work. It came outside in kind of thing through doing the physical work. And that's where my journey started. I've told you that before. That's where my journey started. So I cannot recommend it highly enough. And it doesn't need to look like you're not asking people to do, like, you know, show up and do tours. It's like, what can you do? What can you fit in? And if you've got babies, if you know that thing about when they sleep, you get a wee workout, and it's like
Move the couch away and just
that's yeah, but there is probably something that could be done somewhere. And I speak to a lot of people that they have no time, but they will admit that they're so overstimulated that what they probably do is the minute they get a bit of free time, they pick up the phone and they doom scroll. So they're dissociating, and they feel like their whole system's regulating, but it's not. Whereas
that's
if they
exactly
used
right.
if they used a bit of physical movement, whether it's even yoga or stretching even, or if they had energy to do something more physical, then that would probably regulate them way quicker and much more effectively.
That is exactly right, because I get a lot of that where mum's saying, I don't have time, and I check the screen time in their phone and it's really high, and I'm like, it's not that you don't have time, you don't have the mental capacity to think about doing anything else. So like what you said, that they'll sit and like doom scroll at the online shop where it's just like kind of zoning out. Nobody's shouting mum, nobody's so you do have time. It's just like learning new systems and structure, how to get that time of doing something positive as opposed to the zoning out on the phone, because really you're not really getting any benefit from them. That, do you know what I mean? Although I do
You
like
know, it
sometimes to
does.
watch cats slapping people, but apart
I
from
like
that,
dogs. Yeah.
oh, do you?
Like any animal video
Yeah,
makes me happy, but it's not activating the right parts of the brain. It's not doing you any favors. It just feels like a kind of break from reality, which is dissociation. That's not really you're not solving any problems. You're not coming back into it afterwards thinking, right, okay, I can think a bit more clearly. I've got a bit of, a boost from chemicals in my brain that, problems don't seem as
yeah.
bad. Or if even, it's that thing about if you feel tired and you go and do a bit of exercise, it actually gives you more energy afterwards. It doesn't deplete you in the way that you think it would.
No, I know that. And then all of this is what has the effect on the self-esteem. See all of that?
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
scrolling, things you know isn't doing any good for yourself, you're not showing up for yourself, and that's the big thing. So that's what I wanted to
Hmm.
talk to you about,
Yeah.
is this self-esteem. You must get people who come to you for this, like you're saying that you
Hmm.
started your journey, built your confidence from the outside in, but people watching, and there's been a lot of questions about tonight's episode on self-esteem, so I just want to make sure we touch on that. But ways
Yeah.
to build it, ways to know that it is your self-esteem that's low, which it most of the time
Hmm.
is. Do you know what I mean? Because you're not doing anything for yourself, and it's not a big dramatic thing you need to do. Like I'm saying to my clients, leaving your supplements or your wee morning tonic out the night before, that even does it. That even builds a bit of
Yeah.
self-esteem, because you are
Yeah.
doing something for yourself. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
You're showing
ultimately
up for
that's what it
yourself.
is. So can you just
Hmm.
explain to people that are listening what actually self-esteem is? What is it? It's just a thing.
Well, self-esteem is just how much you value yourself and rate yourself. So, it's like your kind of internal measure of worthiness. And there's loads of you could go into loads, but that if you break it down, that's basically what it is. So, how and what regard do you hold yourself? And obviously, the people I work with, it tends to be not very good at the start. And it doesn't matter how it looks on the outside. So a lot of people are looking around thinking, but they've got it together. They must like themselves, and you just never know. You really don't. You really don't know what's going on, in people's private lives or in their own heads. So for me, when I'm thinking about self-esteem, I want to know, first of all, do you know what you think about yourself? Because a lot of our beliefs about ourselves are subconscious, and we don't really stop to unpick them and think what is this belief, and then once you realize it's a belief, is it true? So I'll take somebody back to, did you used to like yourself and now you don't? Did something happen, or have you always felt this way? Was it, how did your parents treat you? How did you go on at school, and what things have happened in your life that have either bolstered you or kind of reduced your self-esteem? So the majority of the time, for most people, life can be really difficult, and a lot of experiences we have make us feel worse about ourselves rather than better. So then it's about kind of realizing, well, those experiences don't mean anything. It's what the meaning I've taken from them and what I've made them mean. And obviously, most people take things and negatively spin them for themselves, and then go about looking for information to confirm what that experience showed them. So it's about really getting them to understand and turn it upside down, that that's not actually true. What else could be true? And start to build on that. And alongside that, you have to have those behaviours that support that. So that's what you're talking about, where a little act of self care, doing something for yourself that shows you value yourself.
Yeah.
Um, how do you treat yourself? What are the things that you're doing? And you probably, the best mum will do anything for your child, and then you treat yourself like crap. You won't allow your child to eat certain things, or you won't speak to your child a certain way. But then it's all, what's the point if you're just doing that all to yourself anyway?
100%. Do you know what I mean? I do these like event days. You should come to the next one, will you? And it was like a
Yeah.
yoga on the beach session, right? You'd have loved this. And the woman who was taking it's our yoga teacher. She's dead good. You would love her. And she was saying, she went round the circle and she's like that to everyone. Okay, it was all mums. Tell me a bit about yourself. Right, so she goes to the first woman. I've got 2 kids and my job, blah, blah, blah. The next woman, I've got an older son, da, da, da. The next, I've got 2 young girls. She went round all of the women. So then we
Mm.
did the yoga and the sauna and all that, and she sat everybody back down at the end and she went, I asked you guys to tell me about yourself, and every single one of them just spoke about their kids and their job.
Children. Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
that, what the fuck? It blew my mind. Do you know what I mean? Because actually, there's where your self-esteem's went, because you've lost yourself. Now you just see yourself as mum, which is this role that you were just like, right, that's your new role, you're mum, and you're having to
Yeah.
adjust to all this stuff. And when someone asked, I mean, like, imagine you were like 20 with no kids and somebody says, right, tell me a bit about yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? It'd be a bit of a different
Yeah.
story, wouldn't it?
Of course.
You
Yeah.
know, all these
Yeah.
women sitting there like that, I've got 2 kids and da da da. And I just thought that was fucking gold. I went, oh my
Uh-huh.
God. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
You recede, and who you are completely recedes into the background, and it maybe does start to come back, and then maybe that's the position I'm at because my kids are older.
I was going to ask you,
Um,
what age are your kids now and where are you at with that? Have you struggled? Now your kids are getting a bit older and they don't need you as
yeah.
much.
Well, I think they do in different ways. There's
I'm really looking
different.
forward to this, so don't ruin it for me, Linda.
Okay, they're going to be 18 and 20,
Come on, to fuck,
so
are you kidding me on?
yeah, so they're big people, and they're lovely. Like they're really nice young adults. But they're still. I've kind of gone through. One of them left to go to university, so I went through that kind of half empty nest, which I thought this will be amazing, and I was like, oh, I
And
didn't
then
really
was it
like it.
not? No, shut up. Why?
Well, she's here now, so she's not actually. She's kind of. She's
You're
says she's
delighted. You're
moved out,
like
and then
that
she comes
tonguing in
back and gets her
tonight.
Washington.
You know what I mean? Fucking
and,
hell.
and then the other one just left school, and I thought, oh, that's great because no more school dictating my life, no more school run,
Bliss.
no more holidays that have to be in term time,
Oh
all
my
that kind of stuff.
God,
So,
yeah.
save a fortune. And then I was really upset when she left. I was like, what is this? What's
No.
going on? So it's just kind of re-established. And so I feel as if I'm in this place where I am, like I can fully focus on the business. I can fully focus on me. It's really lovely, but it is a bit of a kind, you've got to be careful because it can catch you unawares. You're like, oh, I've not got babies anymore.
Actually,
Yeah,
that's
and I didn't
true.
expect that because
It's true.
I'm not the most maternal person. I don't know. You might not think that I would have those reactions, but I did. So
Are
yeah,
you not really
but
that kind of maternal? Are you sort of like a wee bit like you like kids, they're okay.
yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I just kind of had kids. I didn't really think. I didn't.
You
It's
didn't
just
think it
what
through.
I didn't
And then
think
you
it
went,
through.
fuck me, what the fuck have I done? I've never really been a kid person, like ever. Like babies will stare at me and I just feel really awkward. Like don't know where to look, and Stacey can be like,
Yeah.
hello, and she knows what to say to babies and she talks in a voice that they all love her. And I'm like fucking I shake their hand, nice to meet you. And they're 4. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, who the fuck's that? I'm just
I can be a
not
bit like that as well. I
yeah, I'm
know,
just
and
not good.
my children are, yeah, of course, I adore them, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But yeah, it's a tough
So that's
journey.
a big
It's
adjustment for you then, if you're like feeling
there's
that kind of okay, I've got Linda back a bit here, but it feels a bit
yeah.
weird.
It's new. It's
It's
change. It's
new.
new. I do. There's a lot of, but it's a really good thing. And I think this is what
Of
it's
course.
always like. You do kind of come out the other side of, they're not always sleepless nights and nappies forever, and they do come out their teenage years too. And hopefully you're left with really, really lovely humans that can be your best friends. But once you get to this stage in life, there's just so much to look forward to. I think because there's so much more time. I can carve out time for the gym now. I can carve out time for my business. I don't need to worry about taking sick days because a child's got a fever or so. To give
That
hope.
sounds amazing. Like it's
I know.
something for me to
So,
really look forward to. But I think
yeah.
Stacey will struggle. So I'm going to have
Yes.
that ruining my
By the
fun. She's
sounds of
going to
it,
be a
she will.
buzzkill, man. She'll be
Tell her
killing
to
that
phone
for
me.
me. I will. I'll say, listen, we don't have like, but she loves kids and she's just that person. But we do get time to go and like date days and have time to herself. Like, so I can't complain
Yeah.
that much. One of the things I get a lot with my clients, so who struggle at this, like I've got a lot of clients all with kids at different ages, and they're really struggling with this kind of stage you're at, maybe just before it, where their kids don't need them as much. And I think
Yeah.
it feels like you're maybe like getting made redundant out of a job or something. Do you know what I mean? So
Well, if
they're a
that's
bit
been your
like,
whole identity, yes.
so like that, what
It's
the fuck?
it's
And then you're left with your man, and you're like,
oh, there's a
what
lot
are we
of
going to talk about?
separations happen at that time. I think that's
100%.
when people become empty nesters. A lot of marriages can break down. Yeah, because like,
Because you're
who
like,
are you?
yeah, like that, sitting, you're nothing to talk about. Like, fuck,
know.
should I put a wee bit more into this, shouldn't we have? Do you know what I mean? But that happens a lot. And you're like, who are we now as we're not mum and dad, so we're back to that, but so much time has
Rediscovering.
passed where you've lost that identity. And I get some people who feel like a complete train wreck outwardly and inwardly, and then they're just like, their marriage is really tough, they're in a
Yeah.
hard place. So that's why I try and get people to sort of, I'm all about prevention is the cure, do you know what I mean? I'm like, your kids are young, let's start teaching the kids good boundaries. You have them, you train, eat well, your kids kind of copy you. But obviously with kid life, you need to roll with the punches, man, because they're fucking seriously unpredictable. And we don't like
Yeah.
that, don't we not, Linda?
Absolutely not.
We
No,
like
if we can do it, we
routine.
like to know. We do.
We like to
And
know
yes, all
stuff.
the all the knowns to be known. Thank you.
Because I found that really hard with kids, man. Like, I'd have a day planned and then somebody's like a toenail's ingrown, just like mad
Yeah.
shit. Now I'm totally fine
Somebody
with it.
just
I'm
doesn't want to
chill
go.
now.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But
See,
before I was
they're
like,
the biggest
this is
teachers.
pish.
They teach you how to flow with life and accept things.
Yeah,
So
they do that. They
they
definitely,
do.
they do. But hugely affect your mental health. I don't think, I mean, see if you want to send your girls over for a bit of like contraception, spend the day with me, because I will tell them the truth about these kids. I'm like, we're at war. We're at war with these kids. Fucking the
Yeah,
manipulators. Do you know what I mean?
I know, and I know. And what age are they now?
The girls are 10 and 12.
10 and 12. Oh, so you're just getting into the
What do you mean?
hormones are just
No.
starting to kick. Yeah,
I'm like thinking, like, I thought I was in the trenches
strap
when they were
in now.
4. Really? I thought I was in the trenches when they were 4 and like babies, and like it was all tantrums and just like
Well,
my
everybody's
humour. I'm
different.
quite sarcastic, so my humour wasn't landing with like 4-year-olds. Do you know what I mean? So they're just, the oldest one's just started to find me quite funny.
Yeah,
But now I'm told people are saying, "Oh, get ready, man! Fucking hell, this is the worst ages coming up." And I'm like, really? But we have had
yeah,
dramas with TikToks and
yeah.
videos
The
and
hormones will be everywhere, and all these
bloody
females
hell,
in the
man!
one end some are perimenopausal and the other ones are kind of premenstrual, and it's all just
Fucking hell.
it's kind of fun.
Uh, like
It's not.
that's what always happens. 2 sets of like different types of puberty. Your first puberty, and then the mum's going through the second puberty. Do you know what I mean? So then you've got this like shit sandwich in the house of all these hormones, and it is rough as fuck, isn't it?
It can be. It can be. Depends what day it is, but yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't want to talk badly, but my kids are they are they're lovely kids. But
yeah,
of
that's
course, kids
fine.
are kids. Kids are
That's
kids,
fine,
and
but they do knock you out. Like for somebody, we like routine. So for us, I find that one of the hardest things. Like Stacey's just hit out there with, I need to go to the school on Friday morning to see like their jotters. I'm like, what the fuck's in the jotters? Why do I need to go? Do you know what I mean? So it's
yeah,
all that, and I think that's
yeah.
where my clients think they can't start a health routine because they have to have this rigid life, and I'm like, you cannot have that rigid health routine anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because
And
the
that can be
yours,
worse. Some people have been in it. They've maybe been in some sort of lifestyle. It can be the same for career as well. So they've had like a really fit lifestyle, and you just can't maintain that when when you have children because you just don't have the time and the freedom to go and do those things. So it's like people can be very rigid and stuck in that. And how do you adapt that to whatever works under the circumstances you're in now? Same with people in careers and thinking, I'll just just go back to work after the baby's maternity
yeah,
leave's over, and I'll just
and we're
jump back in.
laughing.
But I'm like,
We're
yeah,
laughing.
uh, oh, I know. So it's still that's the eternal question that I don't think we'll ever find an answer to. That is how do
No,
women keep everything going, keep the children, and maintain a challenging career, or even just work in general, because work can be really tough.
it can be tough, but for you, what would you be saying to women now for a couple of things for them to start doing? Obviously, joining my 90-day
Well,
program is like
that's one.
first on your agenda, like, and you're
Yeah,
going to be doing the mindset stuff inside that every month.
yeah.
Boom. And there's structures and things for people that's not the same as when you were like 20 doing fitness. But what else can people birds do now, working on their self-esteem, right? They're feeling like shite. What would you suggest? Because you've said you've kind of been in that situation.
Yeah, I think It depends on the circumstances because it depends on the level of support you've got. So some people really are like I've got some single mothers just now with small children, and it's difficult, and they can't really ask. They maybe got childcare for work, but then maybe not, so they can't say childcare for like, can I go to the gym for an hour or something like that. So it is so nuanced for everybody. But I think that I always come from a mindset perspective. You're probably really good with the practical stuff, which is so important. But then from a mindset point of view, where are you kind of tripping yourself up? Where are you making things a lot harder for yourself because of your thoughts? Whether it's the mum guilt, whether you just never feel as if you're doing a good enough job, whether you don't like catching the thoughts of where you don't feel you're good enough to be able to put yourself first and to prioritize your health and your every part of your well-being. And that's always fair because a lot of times it doesn't need to be that much action on the outside if you can get the mindset right. So,
I think
a
so.
program, kind of some sort of nutrition that's beneficial to them doesn't. I know you're absolutely on the same page with this. You don't have to be dialed in. You don't have to
Yeah,
be
on my
hyper
fitness
focused on
pal.
any of this. Yeah, it could be just, and it's all like what little changes can you put, like the low hanging
Uh-huh.
fruit, what little changes can you make that you start off and you implement a small change. So whether it is 5 minutes of movement, whether that is drinking more water in a day, whether it is
Uh-huh.
limiting your phone use, but we all know these things.
You need
We
that.
don't hold ourselves accountable to them.
And I think as well, when you're under a pile of fucking washing and you're doing everything, you can easily forget it. I think that's why working with a
Overwhelm.
coach is actually quite good to remind you of these things and keep you accountable. But when
Yeah.
you said that about the physical stuff and the mental stuff, when I first started coaching people and I was teaching them how to deadlift and all that, and I could write programs, that was great. But there was, especially my female clients, there was something seriously missing, and it was all the mindset stuff that you talk about. So I had to go and learn all that because I was like, fuck's sake,
Yeah.
just did this personal training course and it's useless with all these birds. Do you know what I mean? Because like it's how we are around. Like, are you emotional eating? Everybody knows, right? If you want to shift timber, you need to cut down a bit, move a bit. But what's
Yeah.
all the intricate things that go on there that make it a bit more difficult, and especially for birds and especially mums?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the hardest.
I've
You've
gave
picked the
myself a
hardest group.
terrible challenge, haven't I?
Yeah,
What's
you
wrong with
really
me? I've
have.
got that must have that damsel in distress syndrome.
No, but we need that support, and we need people out there advocating for us and being honest and saying the things that other people are maybe too, don't want to be judged for saying. So, because you're quite comfortable being out there and doing that, then that's, you're probably making more of a difference. Then there's plenty of people out there helping men do things.
Oh man,
That,
100%.
like we
The
need
GPs,
we
your
need the
GP.
help.
Imagine a
Yeah.
guy went to his GP and said, my sex drive's low, my hair's falling out, and I'm putting weight on. Imagine a guy said that. He'd be like, send him in an ambulance right now to the hospital. Birds, get this. Oh, you're fine, hen. Do you want the coil? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Do you
This
want
is
a
just
coil?
normal.
This is
This
normal.
is
Your
just
bloods have came back
part of
completely
being a
fine.
woman. Oh,
What?
yeah,
I don't feel
I know.
myself. Nap. Everything looks good here. You know what I mean?
I know, and I don't think we even realise the extent of that, the extent of how neglected women have been, how
Oh,
neglected studies have been of
massively.
their hormones. Mothers, I mean, nobody out there is really interested, and it takes for enough females to come through and be the doctors and be the scientists and be the researchers to actually move the needle on that, which it is starting to now. But
Slightly,
yeah,
but I
we need
mean,
more
the
help from
first
others.
study that was done that included women in the health and fitness industry was in 1994, and they didn't even
Yeah.
take hormones into account. That was the first time they ever included. So all like supplements, health things is around guys.
Yeah, and like all the medications are tested on men.
Guys.
All the sleep studies, men. Have you heard
Guys.
that one recently about men only need 8 hours sleep because it was men that were they were the research basis for the sleep studies. So women actually need way more sleep than men because they've never
Shut
studied
up.
it.
They're
Women
like
need
that,
at
sorry.
least another couple hours.
So
Yeah,
how much are they saying women need a night then? Like,
I think it's like 9 to 10 minimum, whereas men's 8.
uh,
Yeah, that's
even
a
the
new
way
thing that's
the
come out as well.
even the way the world is, like with guys, and they'd say like your 24-hour clock and it's circadian rhythm and it's your 24
Yeah.
hour clock. That's really guys as well. Because women, we
Oh
have
yeah.
like a 28-day clock. So see, like the
Yes, we're
working
both the
world, it's designed around guys. Just in that 20, my guy clients has come in the exact same every time I see them. When I speak to them, they're the same, same, same. My women come in, it could be fucking New York or New Year. These all over the shop. Do you know what I mean? So
oh, yeah.
there's actually companies in America now that are all women led, all women work there, and they work to the circadian rhythm. So at times of the month they take things back a bit, other times in the month they push the social meetings and all that. So
Yeah.
that's quite cool, isn't it?
That's the way of the future.
But
Let's
it isn't here. We're a million
do that.
miles away. We're getting told we only need 6 hours sleep, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean?
I know, but if you feel as if there's progress, it's always that thing. If you feel as if there's progress, then we can be quite happy with that. It doesn't need to be perfect, but if it's moving in the right direction, but it does. It does. The more you learn, the more you kind of go, wait a minute, this is horrendous. And it's just this that women in the home they still have the majority of all the mental load and the tasks. Like they still, even if they're both working full time, it tends to be the woman that does the majority of the childcare and the
Yes, it is.
all the housework as well. So that's still not really changing.
That
I mean,
really
to
fucks
be
me
fair,
off, Linda.
yeah, I've
I've
worked with
got
some
no
lovely male
patience
clients
for that.
who really
Don't
pick
you
up and who really
dare.
some yeah. I've met some unicorns that really um, are are different, but I think
The
still
majority
again
of gyms. Do you know what kills me? See, when my females pack the husband's case for the holiday.
right. Okay,
Do you do
I've
that,
never done that.
Linda?
No, I don't. I know. No,
Fuck
no.
off. That's what I would pack. See, when they got to their holiday destination, they'd open up their suitcase and there'd just be a post-it note saying "fuck off." Pack your
I
own
mean,
fucking case. That
and
kills me.
it's just that probably like the way they got into that situation is probably quite gradual, and things have just kind of,
Yes, it is.
I don't,
The f-
yeah, I
the
don't
the
know how.
extra child, the extra
Uh-huh.
child comes in to play the man child. He just slips in the line like that. I'm here too.
Yeah,
Fucking
yeah,
move it. Do you know what I mean? That kills my soul.
yeah.
Packing the
So it's
suitcase.
you've got to look at all that, and you get that, you understand. There's so much goes into a woman taking care of herself, especially a
Yes.
woman with children. It's very complicated, and you've got to kind of give an extra bit of nurturing support. And I know you're quite good at, kind of calling people out on things and making them accountable, and but you've still got that softness about you where you understand and you can
Yeah.
empathise and you can see
I
you
can't
can
be
see
too
the
hard
nuance
on them.
of the situation. Yeah, because
I can be really
we need
hard
a
on
bit
the
of a kind of
husbands though.
yeah. Well, that's fine.
The
We're
husbands
okay with
don't
that.
like me.
They need
They'll hear
that.
my voice on and they'll be like, oh, here we fucking go. I'm like, "Ah, tell me get the snip." He's like, put
And that's
her
another
off.
thing. Contraception, they brought out, they found a male contraceptive that's really effective.
Did you hear what they
And
said
then,
though?
what was it? There was too many side effects or something.
The men who did the survey on it, when they got told the side effects, the guys were like that. No, no, no. But the side effects were just about like there's loads of side effects with contraceptive for women, right? And
Oh,
the guys were
so
like
many.
that. No. So then they just went, okay
Yeah.
then. Can you believe that? So the
I
guys
know,
were
it's
like, nah, I don't like the sound of that, man. Like, fuck that. And then they went, fine, just keep the women will get that. That's all right. They'll pick that up.
yeah. Whereas
Fuck
when the
off.
pill was introduced, it was only, I think it was only given to married women. Um, and it was like double or even more than double the amount of synthetic progesterone
Yeah.
than it is now, and it was making women violently ill. And they were
Yeah.
so unwell, and they realised it was still effective at least half the dose, so they changed it. But they still put all these poor women through, saying, "No, you're fine, you're fine. There you
Yeah.
go, no baby. So that's all you want."
Like,
It's so
it's unbelievable. Surely the tide is changing. I mean, have you seen the Barbie film, for fuck's sake?
yeah.
Have you
I
seen
don't
that?
know I've seen it, but
No, it
I
was
don't know
good, and it was good because obviously Barbie Land, and it was all the women that was like the guys were the Jims and the women were the Barbies. Do you know what I mean? So that's how it
yeah,
should be.
I can't remember it. I remember the speech at the end.
Uh
And
huh.
that was
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
If we learn nothing, so that's what I wanted from this. I wanted women to feel a bit more empowered, and if we all kind of stick together,
Yes. That is another thing because women can be, from a place of insecurity, can be so judgmental and
It's
get it down
disgusting.
you.
Get it down.
Women can be so judgmental of other women,
Yeah.
and sometimes men aren't the problem. It's sometimes women are reinforcing the problem. So anywhere where we can bring women together and get us to all realise that we're all the same,
I
we're
see
all
that a
we all
lot.
have the same struggles, and if we all just help each other out and without competition or
Million
trying
percent.
to some sort of superiority over somebody else, and yeah, life would be so much easier.
That's what I like about my little group is women. They kind of do my job for me because the groups of women, they do really well together. See, when they all
Yeah.
are on the same page and all women learn from each other. Where I see it the worst the now is our wee girls obviously just went to high school and see the kind of girl rivalry from like the
Yeah.
13-year-olds and the 12-year-old girls. It's intense, and even like pals turning on each other because one's prettier, one get more likes on a TikTok, so then they've all turned, and I'm like, yous need to stand united in this world,
Yeah.
girls, because
I
guys are
know.
running rings around this. Do you know what I mean? So like I see it from their age worse.
Oh yeah, it's so exaggerated, and they're in puberty, and then it's survival of the
Jesus,
fittest at high school, isn't it? At that point for girls, so they're
it's
going to
terrible,
step
innit?
over somebody to make sure they're safe, and it's not coming from a place of they're probably not even thinking about how much what they're doing is hurting another girl. It's more just like to keep me okay, to keep me safe, to make sure that I'm relevant in some way. I'm significant, so it's horrible to watch
I'm
that. It
glad
really
I'm not
is.
going back to that age, man.
No, but you can
You couldn't
still a
pay
lot.
me.
We just need to make sure that you're creating safe. That's what you're doing. You're creating safe spaces for women to be able to feel connected, to be able to be honest, and have that kind of space to share in a way that's really beneficial. That's what we need. We need more of it.
We need
we
more.
need
Help us.
we need
Let's get all
more women.
together.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm going to let you leave now, but you're obviously going to come back and chat at some point to the group. But thank you so much for coming tonight and holding fort because my throat was just
Well, you did fine. You didn't even cough.
swallowing. I've swallowed a few coughs. I don't know if you can see how
Have you? Oh,
much I'm
that's a
actually
shame.
sweating, by the way. I feel like my hair's
Oh,
grown double the size, like
you're glowing.
Monica. All like that. These men. I mean, I'm actual
Oh,
pissing
I
out
know, I
sweat,
know.
Linda.
I'm
Fuck
triggering
me.
you. I'm sorry.
I know. Right, thank you so much, mate. Did really well. Really
No
happy with
worries at
that.
all.
Thank you.
Right, take care.
So that was Linda Hughes. I love Linda. She is going to be in the KP method. She's going to be the person that's coming every 4 weeks to just make sure that we are in the right zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer out, thank you so much for listening, I'm going to offer out free strategy, goal setting. You can get a wee Zoom, a wee one-to-one chat like this with me, which just to get maybe a wee plan, maybe you want to think about joining the KP method because you're like, that sounds brilliant. I'll just give you a wee tiny rundown of it. Basically, in 90 days, I'm getting women who are feeling overwhelmed, burnt out, don't know where to start. You're looking in the mirror going, I don't recognise this bird anymore. And in 90 days, I'm transforming you through different things. Don't worry, know my fitness pal. So don't stress yourself out. But mindset work, working around your lifestyle to, get fit, start exercising, moving, but doing things for yourself. You don't realise how much showing up for yourself actually has this huge ripple effect in your whole life. So in 90 days, that's what I'm going to be working on. And you can obviously stay after that. I've had clients for like 25 years. Fuck's sake, I know, I don't look old enough. But that's my main goal because everything that Linda was talking about tonight, like we need help, you need support, you need structure. Look, your health can't keep going to pot every time like the schools are off. We're going to have the schools off in 8 fucking weeks. Like, we need support, you need help. So inside the KP method, I'm doing loads of stuff, like all the mindset work that I've said. We work through something called the 5 pillars. You also get on my coaching app where you can get training, whether that's in your house, whether it's at the gym, maybe you're just walking, whatever it is, it's bespoke to you. Also, straight off, we'll be doing a blood test. In the blood test, it lets me see what the hell's going on with your health. So then we can start to pinpoint stuff. You might just be feeling like shite now and going, I'm going to just, start buying a supplement that I've seen on the TikTok shop because a woman says it works. Do you know what I mean? I want to make sure that we're not wasting money doing that because you don't actually know what you're getting with things like that. So the blood test just means that I can go to my Chinese doctor, organise your protocol, which is going to give you the stuff that you need. I'm quite big in Chinese medicine, so having somebody like Melody in the team is amazing. And the blood test is like, right, great, we know what we're doing. Linda's in there as well. My Stacey's in there. She's a bit more of the supportive type of coach. I'm a wee bit more fucking tough love. Get Jim packing his own fucking suitcase. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you think, yes, I would love a wee call, a catch up, you walk away with a plan, something going forward, or you think you want to join, I've got 8 spaces left, because as I was on that episode there, I've had a couple of people joining who had a wee bit of an early bird type of pass, so they're in. So I now have 8 spaces instead of 10. I really want you to get in, do something for yourself. Don't have the mum guilt. You need to invest yourself as well. And if you're in a good space, everybody's better. If you feel good about yourself, you know, think about how many times you went on holiday and you're like, fucking having a terrible time. I'd like myself in any of these outfits. You've done a Shein haul and you're not happy in any of these outfits because you've not been working on your self-esteem. So stop wasting money. Let's think about this. What's the 12 months going to look like if you don't start and do something the now that's going to benefit yourself? What's the next 12 months going to look like? You're going to be like in the same position this time next year, or January, letting start the cream bun diet. I've did that before and it worked, Jim. I promise it'll work this time. You know, we're doing all that. Come on. So what to do? Get in touch with me on Instagram. I'm going to be on there. I'm going to put a wee post up and stuff. Let me know if you want a little chat. I'll send you my diary and we'll just have a wee Zoom chat, half an hour, give you a bit of direction, maybe see if you're a fit to join the 90-day programme, because I am quite selective on who comes in. Remember, I want to get you results. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for somebody else like thinking they can pay money and all things happen on its own. You need to put the work in, so you need to be in a good headspace. And I don't want anybody to waste their money or waste my time. So I make sure that we're a good fit, and I need to make sure there's enough red flags about you. Do you know what I mean? I'm a red flag chaser, so I need to make sure there's enough red flags. So I hope you enjoyed that. Give me a bit of feedback. Nice to see some of yous on. I can't see your living room, so don't start to panic like that. No, fluff the cushions. Thanks for putting up with my voice. I don't know how it sounds tonight, but I mean, I've been smashing this Cavonia. I'm pretty sure there's a limit to it. I'm like that. Yes, Linda. Go. But I'm feeling a bit rough and I'm sweating. I don't know if the heating's on in here, man. But anyway, it's time to do something that's going to benefit you. If nothing changes, what am I going to say? Nothing changes. Nothing.